'Tis the season. I've got to go get some Christmas decorations out of the loft. I've recorded and edited 15 videos today, some of which I'll be uploading to Facebook because they're part of our new Facebook ad strategy. And I had a bit of a profound realization today, having done some pretty intense strategy sessions with Daniel Priestley and a couple of other guys for myself and our business for where I want to take 2019. I've realized that the scope of our business and the amount of wealth that we're able to create for ourselves is immediately limited by the scope and the scale of our vision. So like I said, today I produced around 15 videos, we edited them, we've put subtitles on them, we've made them suitable for Facebook by making them square and kind of focusing on the titles. We're doing a bit of a video cascade strategy, which I'm sure I'll share with you guys at some point. But throughout the entire process, I kept thinking to myself, why am I so clear about what it is that I should be doing? I then jumped on a coaching call with a couple of customers today, and they've been talking about, their new Facebook ad strategy and all the other stuff they want to do, and the video content, the blog content, and the webinars and the sales process. And they kept saying to me, but how do we know that we're doing the right thing? How do we know that this is the right strategy? And then coupled with that, it was, we always procrastinate. We find that we have too much to do. We find that we have not enough hours in the day to do it. I'm always worried about where I should be focusing, if I'm doing the right stuff, are we wasting money? And I realized that I personally have fewer of those reservations. And I think one of the reasons for that is because I'm extremely clear on my vision. And the vision that I have for my business and my life and the world is so massive that it's even intimidating, and I still feel a bit funny about sharing it publicly on a platform like YouTube, which is when we started getting into the process of defining this larger scale vision for ourselves and for our customers and for our own businesses. And it can be intimidating to share that even with me as someone who is a coach and obviously would just want to encourage what people want to go for. And that was really interesting, that people were hesitant to think bigger in case that I took the piss out of them, or I thought that they were above their station, or their friends thought they were above their station, or I thought it was impossible, even though we need to have those kind of visions because it makes everything else easier. So here's what I want to challenge you to think about over the kind of the quiet period of the holidays. What is the biggest possible vision that you could have for your business? And it often comes down to a question of why does that piss you off? For example, it's become apparent over the past few weeks that I believe that if you are better at sales, you're a more moral person. If you're better at sales, then you're more likely to provide great services to people, find customers you can help, grow businesses, make people's lives better. But sales training needs to be bigger than just me going to entrepreneurs. I need to get sales training into the hands of every single kid in the world. And that means completely changing how schools teach sales and money management and pricing and speaking and pitching and talking, not just in places like the UK or America, or the West, or even in Europe. I mean everywhere. If growing and developing nations in Africa and the Middle East and Asia, and even growing and developing states and cities inside America and the United Kingdom had access to the sales training that I could provide them, I genuinely believe the world would be a better place. And bringing it back to practicalities, here's why this is so important. If you're struggling to make 60 grand a year, for example, to pay the bills, pay the mortgage, put food on the table, put your kids through education, but you're not really saving enough money, and you always feel, I haven't really got a lot left over, your vision needs to be bigger. If you have a massive, game-changing, world-changing vision and a huge problem that you want to solve, it's naturally going to force you to pull bigger chunks of energy out of yourself, and you will naturally be progressed along, and you'll have all the wealth that you could desire. If you think about the biggest problem that you could, it's naturally going to pull you along to a different place. If you're struggling to pay the bills and you realize that 60 grand is a hard thing to do, I completely understand that thinking bigger than that even seems counterproductive. Here's why it's not. If you change your thinking to where the point you think, I need 60 grand to pay myself and pay my bills, to I need to generate and raise $2 million, you're naturally going to build more wealth for yourself because you've got to solve a bigger problem. And also, it ties back to the motivation where solving that bigger problem is less of a burden than you might think. If anything, you're likely to get excited about it and think, how can I make this happen? You're thinking bigger thoughts about what makes this happen. You're less likely to procrastinate. You're less likely to question and double guess yourself about whether you're making the right moves because you know you're following a bigger purpose as opposed to thinking, what's the fastest way for me to be able to pay my bills? Look, I understand how mumbo jumbo a lot of this must sound and how woo woo it all sounds, but the reality is that there is a definite difference between businesses who decide to pick this vision up and run with it and work towards a goal which is so much bigger than them, compared to the ones who just about manage to pay their bills every month. It's just something I want you to think about. It's a very different type of video, this. If you're a funnel builder, consider subscribing, but frankly, what I want from anyone watching this is in the comments, the biggest problem that you could solve. I want your vision for the future. I want this big thing that morally pulls you along past procrastination and past second guessing yourself into a place where you know that you're doing the right thing for your business and for the world and being a better person. Thanks very much for watching, guys. I'm Mike from Sell Your Service. I'll see you in the next video.